right? Well, Maria was unsuccessful with her live, but I will get it figured out and we will do this live next time. So for now, we've just decided to record it because I really wanted to give Laura and Susan an opportunity to share their stories of how they're on their paths to lifelong transformation. And many of you have heard my story, and it's not really the purpose tonight. The purpose tonight is for them to share their stories in hopes to inspire inspire you to think. If you're thinking about your health and you have your health on your heart, hopefully it will inspire you to take that next step and make that one simple decision that myself has made, and both Laura and Susan decided to make that one simple decision that now has put them on a path to lifelong transformation. So with that said, I'm going to introduce Laura Eggerly. And Laura and I have known each other for probably, I guess, almost 20 years or maybe a little more. Laura and I worked together in our previous corporate lives. We both are now the CEO of us, and we manage our own days. So without further ado, I'm going to hand the floor over to Laura, and I'm just going to start the conversation with, Laura, what was your defining moment when you decided to make this change?
Thanks, Maria. I'll just jump in and start right away. My defining moment was when I was on the floor with my new grandson, and I wasn't comfortable. I was trying to get up and down off the floor, and I just had to have a chair or something to assist me to get up and down. And that was like the last straw. And that was a few months before that, I had gotten a CPAP because I was in bed for 10 hours and still tired. So I was able to get a CPAP. And so I started with the CPAP and I started walking, and I had a little bit more energy, but I could only lose about 8 pounds, and that's all I could do. I needed help. So that's when I decided to call Maria, and she gave me the encouragement and the great tools to start on a health journey. And really encouraged me that I could stick to it and do it. And she gave me the path. And so my having a grandson and being able to move better was my true why. The non scale benefits, the first one was joint relief, which I didn't really even know that I had inflammation until it was gone. So, I figured, I'm just getting old, and that's just part of what getting older means. Your joints hurt. Well, that went away, and I had a lot more energy. I felt a lot younger, because those aches and pains that I was chalking up to age were slowly going away. And I just stuck to the plan, and the weight was coming off gradually. And soon, if I had a hiccup or whatever, then Maria would help me get right back on track. And now I don't need a CPAP anymore. So that's gone. And I have a lot more energy, and I don't need help getting up and down off the floor. So I'm so grateful.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So, your life has changed in so many ways. And, thinking back about where you were in July, right, and where you are now, tell us a little bit about, what was different from, I know you weren't one of those typical, you weren't like me, where I was the expert yo-yo dieter, right, where you were constantly struggling with your weight. Because, tell us a little bit about that part in terms of not being a professional yo-yo dieter, as I used to call myself, but someone that really never had trouble with their weight, and then all of a sudden, like life happened. Can you share a little bit more about
that? I just put on the weight so gradually over all of the years, 2-3 pounds a year, slowly gaining the weight. So, and since I didn't really yo-yo diet, I didn't even know how to diet. I thought, I know how to eat right. My mom taught me to make a colorful plate and make sure you have your vegetables. And so I thought I knew how to eat right. Um, but I didn't have the keys to measure. So that was important. You taught me how to measure my foods and how to see certain foods differently than I had before, because my mom was like, okay, let's have a healthy snack. Cheese and nuts and crackers. And it's like, no. So your plan really has helped me change the views on those kinds of things. So yeah, like I said, I never even knew how to diet because I
Yeah.
never tried before.
Yeah.
But
So,
I really was amazed that I've landed in the right place on the first try. That's such a
oh,
blessing.
thank you. So in terms of, we use the term diet, right? Because that's kind of like the industry thing. Like, here we go again on another diet. And, you know, uh, working with you and, using the tools in terms of, the life book and shifting your mindset, right? Because that was a big part of it, was that whole mindset shift of,
Mm-hmm.
this isn't a diet. Like, most people, come to me and say, I need to lose weight, I need to go on a diet. So can you share a little bit more about, like, the mindset shift for you and the tools that you've used along the way to really help you embrace a healthier lifestyle versus being on a diet?
Yeah. I remember our conversation, probably was halfway through reaching my goal, and I said, I've realized there's not a finish line. So and that's okay. It's because um the mindset is to keep your goals in mind, keep trying to be healthy every day, and care about yourself as much as you do everybody else around you, because we just tend to like see the person in front of us and take care of them and take care of them and take care of them, and then we don't look in the mirror to take care of ourselves. So that's
Yeah, and I think you bring a really good point. It awakened you, right?
mm-hmm.
That it was time to take care of Laura,
Yeah,
so she could be here for her grandchildren, because you just had another one, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So you're kind of now you're on a path to a healthier lifestyle. Like, what are you doing now that you never used to do before?
I joined a gym. I never did that before. I had to exercise walk, but now I'm walking, and I've added a little jogging in there, which I haven't done since college. And so those kinds of things, and still, of course, measuring my foods and planning the meals a little bit better, so that because I used to avoid food. I used to think food that's the enemy. That's making me fat. I have to avoid it. And then I would get to the point where I was so hungry, I would just eat, eat. It's like, so the change is that I plan better, and I watch the clock, and I feed myself like I would feed my kids. Like, it's time to eat. Time to eat this healthy thing. So
Good.
that's part of the change.
Good. Well, congratulations. I've certainly enjoyed working with you. It's been, and we're still working together, right?
Mm-hmm.
We still keep in touch because Maria never goes away, right?
Right.
I'm that little angel on your shoulder, so to speak. But
Yep.
thank you for taking the time to come on and share your story. I really appreciate it very much. So now we're going to go to Susan, and Susan and I met, I guess around what, 3 years ago?
Probably.
Yeah, I met Susan through the Pittsburgh Airport Chamber of Commerce, who've welcomed me with open arms, and we've kind of, built that relationship over the years. And so, Susan, why don't you kind of start us out with, what was your defining moment?
So mine was interesting. 6 months ago, well, we were in the process of planning a trip for our 25th wedding anniversary to Hawaii. So this was a dream trip. And I was feeling really not good about myself and didn't really want to look forward to getting into a bathing suit or any of those fun clothes. I didn't have any fun clothes at that point that would fit. So I was very frustrated. And so that was the time I said, all right, I need to call Maria. Nothing else is working. And so that was my defining moment. Um, so interesting. Laura and I have never met before, but our stories, it's kind of funny how our story is kind of parallel. But when Maria asked me if I would talk about my healthy lifestyle, my journey, I thought, well, I don't really have a story. Like, it's not dramatic. I don't have any big, life. I didn't have this big, long life struggle with weight. But I do have a story. It's my story, and I have a great story and successes to share. So thank you, Maria, for asking me to do this and be here tonight and the opportunity. It's just a big step in my personal health journey. So thank you. So just a little bit about myself. In my younger years, as I mentioned, I never had a problem with my weight. I was active, full of energy. I was just that person that was always go, go, go. Fast forward to mid-30s, I was newly married. We were planning to have a family, start a family, but God had a different plan for us. So we never conceived. However, I was blessed with a stepson that I was able to help raise, and he was part of our lives. And then in my late 30s, I began perimenopause. So in the back of my mind, I wasn't quite ready to accept yet that I wouldn't have children of my own. And that put a stress on me, along with an incredibly stressful sales job. So during those, then I went into my 40s, and there was all of that, and it started affecting my health, not in any major way other than my weight, and I was tired, and I was stressed. And so at that point, I was very frustrated, and so I just didn't make any efforts in taking care of myself. I ate what I wanted to eat. I drank what I wanted to drink. Whether I got sleep was fine or not. Exercise, yes, no, it didn't matter. And the pounds just started to pile on. So it was kind of that slow process, but they just started coming. And then I call that the yo-yo years, not of dieting, but of gaining and losing weight. So I kind of went through that little bit, gain a few, lose a few, gain a few more, lose a few. Like, it was kind of that, I call that yo-yo time. And through all that, I just became a stress eater. So I ate when I was stressed. I ate when I was happy. Hey, what better way to celebrate, right? I ate when I was bored. I ate because there were always sweets and treats around the office. So it really didn't matter, Is that sounding familiar to anybody?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So when I turned 50, I was well beyond menopause. I felt out of shape. I felt tired all the time. That was the big thing. I was tired all the time. And at this point, I was out of the stressful job, and I thought, okay, it's time to take control of my health. Now, note that word, health, I said. That was what I was thinking. So for the next 8 years, again, I tried to lose weight, but it was still some of that yo-yo, and I almost became comfortable in my skin. Like, it was like, well, this is the way I'm built. This is the way I'm supposed to be, I guess, at this age. When you get that age, that's what happens. And so I kind of was not really, I was kind of frustrated with it. But once I put my mind to it, I started on a very strong exercise regimen. And I did lose some weight. So I thought, well, okay, I could do this. But I don't like to exercise. I'm not that regimented. I'm not that self-disciplined of a person. So, of course, it was great for a while, and then it all came back. So something was missing. Something just wasn't there. So in the spring of 2019, I met Maria. Well, I met Maria, but in the spring, I went to an event that she hosted. And it was a workshop. I heard her story. I heard some other people's stories. And finally, in the fall, I was getting ready for this trip to Hawaii. And I'm like, I need to do something. I'm calling Maria. So we sat down, and I remember that day we sat outside of Panera, sat in the sun, and we talked. And I said to her, okay, I want to start on October 20th. She's like, okay, why that specific date? I said, well, that's my half birthday. So at that point in October, I was 58 and a half on October 20th. And that was the start of my journey with her. So, but notice the date, October 20th, okay? That was 1 month before Thanksgiving. A month later it was going to be Christmas. Oh, don't forget New Year's was right around the corner. Oh, and that annual Super Bowl party. And then, of course, there were birthdays and other events all sprinkled in between there. So I was like, oh, and my job. What is my job? It's networking and meeting with clients. Oh, all of those meetings are usually scheduled around breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So food. What was I thinking? But guess what? None of that actually mattered. Once I focused and just started working with Maria and following the steps that she had laid in place for me, it didn't matter. What was different this time? Maria was there to help guide me through it. She gave me tools to help me. And the thing I really learned was that I was in control of the choices. So when I was going to any of those social events or any holidays, I knew ahead. It was going to be a mealtime or an event that had food. And so I planned ahead. Either, I brought my own food or I brought something to the party that I knew I could eat or wanted to eat that was healthy and not just filling some empty calories or empty, just an empty mindless eating. That's what that is, mindless eating.
Yep.
So here I am 6 months later. I turned 59 on April 20th. I've lost 27 pounds to date, but I gained so much more. And that is, remember when I said when I turned 50, I wanted to take control of my health? What I gained was every aspect of my life. So it was a whole lot of things about more than just the food. It was how to fuel my body, tools and techniques to make a better lifestyle for myself and the choices I was making. The energy has increased. I'm driving my husband crazy because I'm just dragging him into every project and everything I want to do. And of course, I have a grandson also, and now a new granddaughter. So of course, I want to keep that energy up to keep up with them because a 5-year-old and now they don't live around here, but when I see them, they want all my attention. So I want to be able to give them that. And it's been kind of fun shopping in my own closet. I had some clothes that I wasn't able to wear, and I actually skipped a few. I pulled something out that I hadn't been able to wear, and it was too big, so it just went off. It just went out into the into the pile. So it's been really exciting, and I just can't thank you enough, Maria, for the opportunity to work with you. And if anyone listening to this, I hope you've been blessed by Laura's and my story. If there's any stirring inside of you that you really want to take on your own journey, please reach out to Maria. She's just amazing.
Oh, thank you. So, Laura, you can unmute.
Okay.
So, it's interesting, how we become mature, right, in our lives and really realize that we have that defining moment that it's time to take care of us, right? And taking that step is not an easy thing to do because sometimes we feel like, we feel guilty, or I don't know about you guys, but, that was part of my, me being a mom too, is always giving, but it goes back to the analogy of, if you don't put that oxygen mask on, right, and take care of yourself first, how can you take care of those around you that you love, So thank you both for sharing your story. And I think the big message here today is, and I'd love for you two to chime in as we end, is, this is a lifelong journey, and I finally realized that after 30 years of being on every diet out there, then it has to be it has to start up here, and you have to really find that intrinsic motivation as to why this is important to you. Why do I need to gain control of my health? Why does that matter? What difference is that going to make in my life if I'm able to do that? And why does all that matter? And then making those changes and those habit and behavioral changes, right?
Mhm.
So those are really the two most important things when you're looking at a lifelong transformation or a lifelong journey of health, is you've got to have that compelling why, and you've got to change your habit and behaviors to have that lifelong health. I don't know what your thoughts are on that. So.
Oh, definitely. And when I go out in public now and I see the people that are on the path that I was on, because I could see is like I'm just going to get worse and worse and worse, and they're sad, they're struggling to move around the world, and it's like, oh, I knew I was on that path and I didn't want to be there. So hopefully this will encourage somebody else who is unhappy to make a change, because they can be happy. And this is a really great community. And I know, Maria, you said we talk every once in a while, but even if we go a few weeks without talking, just knowing that you're there so I can call you if I need to it's really great. So I love it.
Thanks. I appreciate that very much.
And I think
You have a
too,
great-
like I know for part of in my journey, when I would go to the doctors, and every time I would go, those cholesterol numbers or blood pressure or something would be shifted a little bit. And again, in my life, I've been a healthy person, but so things were starting to creep in, and they just wanted to treat it with medication. So, and I'm sure I'm thinking of Laura's story in her CPAP machine. Like, she needed something. She was having a struggle, but she was able to. She really didn't need that. She needed to take care of herself. Same thing with me. I didn't need those cholesterol medicines or blood pressure medicines. I needed to take care of myself. That was not an issue. That was not a physical issue that I was having. I was causing that to happen to myself.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And you chose we have choices, right? And the foundational choices, both of you made the choice to take that path to health versus ultimately staying on the path of disease. And then you figured out what you really wanted, and you did, you just got to start and take that first step. And, the community is here. The tools are here. The coaching support is here, because I will share this with both of you. And I don't know if you know this, but 85% of individuals that set out to do this alone typically will end up right back where they were within 2 years. And I was one of them, until I got a coach, so. But gosh, we could go on and on and on and on and on about how awesome we feel and what our health changes have brought into our lives. So, but I want to thank both of you for being here. And I'm sorry, everybody. Again, I apologize for not being able to go live, but hopefully this will help inspire all of you to really think about your health and take that lifelong journey with us. And I would love the opportunity to do that. So have a good rest of your day or evening whenever I post this. And again, thank you all for